Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Thursday, February 10th, 2022. And because it is a Thursday, it is happy hour today. Today, I'm going to be taste testing this Nuun Endurance Prime. It's their like before workout stuff, part of their podium series. They have like before workout, during, and then recovery for after workout. I've tried the after stuff before. I actually really enjoy that. And I've had the new like endurance. I think that's what's called endurance for like during. I think that's what's also going to be on course at the LA Marathon. So I thought today would be a great day to try this pre stuff. I don't remember where I got this. I didn't buy this. Nuun didn't send it to me. I think I got it when I made a big order at the feed and maybe they threw it in there. Either that or I got it at the running event in Austin when I was there. I don't remember how I got it, but that's as much of a disclosure as I can give you guys for this product, but we'll get to that in just a minute. I do also have my afternoon coffee. I'm decided to go with my mug today because what I've realized is I can drink coffee a lot faster out of the mug than I can out of my like Yeti sipper thing. Um, and today's a fast drinking coffee kind of day for sure. We'll get into it, but first let's say hi to everyone listening in on the podcast and the audio only version. Hopefully you guys are having a good run out there today. The weather turned a little bit overnight in Chicago. It got chilly. So hopefully when you're running out there today, it's not too bad. And if it is chilly, I hope it's at least not windy. And everyone sitting back at home, watching this on YouTube later in the day, hopefully you're having a great day and relaxing with your afternoon coffee or some other beverage that may be more appropriate for happy hour. All right, let's see who we got here in the chat today. We got Martha here. She's saying, sorry, I missed the last two live streams. We were out and about. Glad to be here today, though. Wow, that's awesome. You know, you got to get out and got to get about. Both of those things are great. So don't worry. We're glad to see you back, though. And Jeff Elliott says, hi, everyone. And Danielle says, it's a nice sunny day in Austin. So you guys survived in Austin. Did the people didn't lose power in Texas this time with the freeze, right? And water still stayed on. Are we past all that now? I know it was pretty dire for a moment there. All right, Christian Schoberger says, hi, everyone. He's back on the tread with a wave emoji, and he's back on the treadmill in the Nike Invincible. Should be a nice and bouncy day for you. Hopefully you're getting in some good miles. Daniel M says, the American Mile record attempt is going to be live on YouTube tomorrow. Cole Hawker and Cooper Tier. You know what I just realized, Daniel? I totally forgot about that. I remember that was supposed to be happening this weekend, and then I kind of forgot all about it. And, you know, I tried to get some media credentials to see if I could get some better access to photograph and video the meet, or at least this event. No one even bothered to respond. So I guess I could go and try to buy a ticket and attend the race as a spectator and do it that way. But I don't know. Maybe I'll just watch it on YouTube then. It's a shame because, you know, how often will I get to see those two run in a race locally? But I think the race, I might be able to do it. I think that the mile, they're running it later, like it's a last event of the day. So maybe it might work out schedule-wise. I'll have to think about that one. Regan Dude says, hi, everybody. And JC says, hey, everybody, I think I'll go for an afternoon coffee today. It's a good day for an afternoon coffee. But really, every day is a good day for an afternoon coffee. All right. Yeah, Daniel M says, as far as the timing goes, 5 p.m. Pacific on Beer Mile Media. So that'd be 7 p.m. here. I thought it was 7. I had in my head 7:30 for some reason when I looked at the schedule, but I haven't looked at the schedule in about a week. So I would probably go with what they're saying. Or but maybe they're starting their broadcast at 7 so that the race starts at 7:30. All right. Yeah, Martha wants to know where they're doing that. And Daniel said, it's the Wisconsin indoor meet. Yeah, Wisconsin is technically, I think, the home team, if you want to think of it that way. But they're hosting the Wisconsin meet at a track that's south of Chicago. And it's called the Gateway City Invite. But it's supposed to be an indoor track that's hydraulically banked, which I think is pretty impressive. I think it's supposed to be a nice facility. So, yeah, I think that's the details on that. All right. Greg says, "Yo, Co, you going to American Record thing in Chicago? Are you gonna go, Greg? I'll go if you go. Well, I have to run it by my wife, make sure that we're okay on that. But I'll message you later. We'll see if we're gonna go." All right. Luis says, "Yo, what's going on? Nuun is official beverage at the LA Marathon. I need to try to get used to them, I guess. It's a tasty beverage. I like it. Um, I bought it by like the canister, and I would in the summer. I don't know if it was this summer or the summer before. I ran with it a bunch in my hydration pack. Speaking of that, let's get this open. It's supposed to be orange flavor. And here's the thing: it says that it's ultra hydrating drink mix, right? But when I look at the thing on the back, it's only have 6 grams of carbs. Not that carbs are what are hydrating or not. But that was a small amount for like before you work out. So that was a little bit confusing to me. It has 2 grams of protein, so not a lot, but it does have a lot of BCAAs, branching amino acids. And then 20 milligrams of calcium, which is only 2% of your daily value. It has magnesium, 10% of your daily value, and 7% of your daily value of chloride. And then 500 milligrams of salt. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's what it is. It's just, it loads you up on salt before you get out there and start sweating. So that could be useful. I just came back from my run, so I guess I could use some of this stuff too. So it has 150 milligrams of caffeine, which is very exciting. But here's the thing. So the caffeine comes from organic green tea extract and organic green coffee bean, right? There's also organic ginseng in here, which then makes me think like, oh boy, what is this going to taste like? I do not like the taste of ginseng. I think it tastes like you're drinking dirt. Sandy dirt is what I think of when I think of ginseng. So we'll have to see how this tastes. But it's orange flavor, and Nuun and citrusy things tend to go well for me. So I don't know. I'm optimistic. It doesn't it's not fizzy because it's not a tablet, so it's not dissolving quite as well as like the regular like electrolyte Nuun drinks dissolve. All right. Cheers. This is good. I don't taste any ginseng in here. I'm looking for it. I'm like, is it there? Is it there? It just tastes a little bit salty, a little bit like orange. It kind of tastes like any other like medicine-y thing that has orange flavor in it. So like if you ever had like emergency, you ever have that? I like that stuff. Or like airborne. Like all that stuff comes in like a powder. Sometimes it's fizzy, sometimes it's not. It's orangey flavor. Kind of like Tang. It's kind of like that, but like a very mild. It's not a super sweet, sticky flavor, but it's nice. I like this. Flavor is good. I could drink those all day. Do you guys drink like stuff before you work out? I don't really do that. You guys let me know. Fitnote, like I said, for some reason, I thought that was a protein bar by Nuun. I mean, do you think they're going to get into food? I feel like that would be a good way for them to go. I mean, how else do you expand the product line? They've gone from electrolyte tablets that are now designed for not sport too. They have like a relax line for people to help them sleep, like the vitamin line, you know. Now they have like before, during, and after workout. I do like the recovery beverage quite a bit. Where do they go from here? Gen Z says fess up. That's a screwdriver. Oh man, today would be a good day to do that. You know why? It would be a good day to do that just because this dog I don't know. I'm starting to get worried about him. Yesterday I took him to the basement. That's where their package room is. To go get packages, and we usually just take the stairs. I walked him outside and we went down the stairs. And for some reason, like when he was like 4 stairs away from the bottom of the staircase, maybe even 5 or 6, he decided he was just going to jump for it. And I think he's only had one eye for a long time, and I think that his other eye is not doing so well. So I think his depth perception is way off. So he just like belly flopped after jumping off the stairs. And then I thought, well, that was pretty stressful. He's probably going to sleep pretty good tonight. But then at 1 o'clock in the morning, he starts whining and barking. And I got to take him outside for a walk at 1:30 in the morning. And it was snowing and it was gross. And yeah, he was inconsolable. I couldn't get him to like just lay down and go to bed. So I had to get up, put my boots on, my jacket on, and go take the dog for a walk. That was not and then I couldn't fall back asleep. So yeah. That's why I'm tired. That's why I want the afternoon coffee. That's why I want the caffeine from this Nuun. Eric, did I miss the Nuun Prime Transformers tasting? Yeah, it's pretty good. Someone said it looked like a hazy IPA. That would also be really tasty and something that I could also go for right about now. We don't have any hazy IPAs in the house or screwdrivers. I think we got vodka in there somewhere. But we're going with the Nuun Prime. It's for pre-sweat. I still don't know if I need a pre-sweat, like a before workout drink. But I guess it's very good. I like it. It's tasty. There's a little bit of an aftertaste to it that the recovery Nuun drink also has. The recovery Nuun drink has it much stronger. It's like almost soapy aftertaste. There's like a finish to it, a texture that it leaves in your mouth. There's a hint of that here, but otherwise it's really good. It just tastes like a non-fizzy Nuun drink. Adam says, what and how much he drinks before a workout depends on what he's done prior, what kind of run, and the weather. Don't use products. So I need electrolytes. I use Morton's light salt with potassium. There you go. Not Morton, Mortons. For those of you listening at home. Yeah. I mean, that's how I am too. Sometimes, like I try not to run fasted anymore if I can remember to eat. Because I'm trying to think of it from a perspective of, like if I run depleted, it'll just take that much longer for me to recover. And especially if I'm doing a recovery at home, a recovery run, I don't want that run to be depleting in any sense. And so, sometimes, I'll usually have breakfast. The dog came over. I think he knew we were talking about him. You want to come up? Want to say hi to everybody? He's not interested. Yeah. So I think that makes a lot of sense. I usually eat, but I've been so hungry lately too. So like, yeah, I've just been starving. Even though I've been eating breakfast before my runs, and lately I've been just like shoving that Picky Bars granola like in my mouth before I leave. So I'm like leaving like crunching on granola because I'm just been like insatiably hungry lately. And I still get like I'm halfway through my run and I'm like I'm famished. I wish I would have brought gels or maybe a stroopwafel. So maybe that's a signal that my body's just missing a couple of things. Anyway, but yeah. Ilya Kim says before he goes out, if up to 10K, he'd like to have some coffee, cortado perhaps. There you go. That sounds nice. Scotty B says, "Hey all, checking in from Minnesota. I'm going streaking." Scotty, is that what you've been wearing all this time? Scotty B, I don't know if you guys follow him on Instagram. He's been blurring out or just like coloring in his shoes before he posts his pictures on Instagram. And he's been doing it for a long time and I just kind of forgot. And another day, yesterday, I think there's a picture of the shoes that were not colored in, and I was like, "Oh, I can see his feet today." And they didn't look like streak flies though. So that's why I was confused. But it must be. Very, very cool. I didn't know you were a tester, Scotty. Midlife Runner says, question, do you coffee before you work out? I started UCAN for workout days beforehand. Ooh, I normally have I usually have many coffees before I end up running, depending on the day. On the weekend, it's usually like half a cup of coffee before I head out. Maybe I'll have some toast or some other sort of like bread type product, a donut if we've got one laying around, or cookies. Sometimes granola or oatmeal cookies, things like that. Usually it's not oatmeal, but maybe oatmeal cookies or a bar. But if it's like a regular weekday, I'll have coffee before I get the kids up. Then I take the kids to school, and then depending on if I'm going to run right away or later, I might have more coffee before my run. So I just have a lot of coffee. Tracy Smith says, "Are there seriously morning runners that head out before coffee?" Dies. Funny. Eric says, okay, interesting. Sometimes dip into Nuun after a hot run, but haven't cramped or had issues in a long time. Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, in the summertime, I drink a lot of Nuun. I just like pound it in the afternoons. Like once I switch from afternoon coffee to like not afternoon coffee, then it's usually just like Nuun all day. In the winter, it's just water. I'm not sweating the same. So yeah. I don't know if I need to be. I'm sure I need to be still replenishing those electrolytes though. Martha says, "This fluid looks way too yellow to be any kind of beer. In fact, it looks like a bad urine sample. Hint of a soapy finish." It's funny. I'm gonna drink it. CV76 says, "How accurate is a Jack Daniel's V dot running calculator?" I'm not sure. I feel like it's based off of very extensive data. So I think that it probably is really accurate for probably the vast majority of people. If you're outside of maybe like standard, more than 1.5 standard deviations from like normal like correlations of pace to V dot O2 max, which how do we really ever know that unless we like trial and error. But I think that because of the research that he put into it, um, I think it's pretty accurate for a vast majority of people. I don't think that it always like it doesn't mean like if you have a VDOT of something that automatically without training for a marathon you can run a certain marathon time. It just means that like that's what that correlates to. So I think people sometimes misunderstand it a bit, but ultimately I think that the data is pretty reliable. That's my understanding. I think it also like depends on how good you are at executing a race too. So there's a lot of variables that get in there. Running and Pizza says, "I used pre-workout when I was powerlifting, but for running, I only use electrolytes." Okay. That makes sense. But I mean, is there a physiological difference? Like, I wonder what the science is from it. Like, I understand, like, I don't want to say culturally, but like in that sport, that's something that people do all the time. In running, I think like that kind of thing isn't and hasn't been as popular. I think only recently has it become like a thing to like make sure you get your protein in 30 minutes after you run, replenish your sugars and your proteins. I don't remember hearing that like growing up. Yeah. Yeah, I mean like I don't know, like growing up like in high school and in middle school, like I never heard anything. The only nutrition advice we ever got was don't drink soda in season and before the day before the meets, go to coach's house, we'll have some spaghetti. I mean, that was like that was pretty much it, you know? Yeah. So like there wasn't a lot of nutritional advice given back in I mean, frankly, I remember there would be like 30 minutes between when the school day ended and when practice started, or maybe it was like 45 minutes. And the rationale being if you need to, join a club, like an academic club, that usually meets like right after school. Or if you need help with academics, like need tutoring or something like that, that gives you that time. And then there's practice. But for most of us, we would basically just run, not literally, but like as soon as like the school day ended, we'd head out to the cars, drive to the nearest McDonald's, order food and eat McDonald's on the way back to practice. And then like with a full belly of McDonald's, start doing a track workout. Was that everybody? That wasn't just me, right? That was like everybody, wasn't it? I don't know, maybe. So that was like my conception of nutrition, like running nutrition. None. You can eat whatever. I mean, I was a tiny little kid anyway, so I never had to worry about it. But yeah. Jason Y says, "Yo, what's up, Cohen fam? Ed Buffalo idea of pairing the Streak Fly with Invincible Run as a shoe rotation. Okay. I am not looking to run marathon distance here and was intriguing. I mean, I think it depends on what, the Streak Fly, is that a full rubber coverage outsole? I can't tell on that one, but it looks like there's a lot. And if that's the case, then, and if it's like the rubber outsole, like that's on the Alpha Fly, then I think that's going to be a relatively high mileage outsole. Whether the ZoomX foam is similarly high mileage. And Ed Bud was thinking that it's not exactly the same ZoomX foam that's in the Alphafly, if I recall correctly. Then I think it could be a higher mileage racing slash training shoe. So I think those two could be a good pairing if you're not racing marathons. So if you're looking to run like 10Ks, maybe a lot of, 5 or 8Ks, maybe up to 10 mile. I think that could be a really good pairing. That in fact might be the best pairing for you if you're looking to go all Nike. Because I wouldn't. I'd rather be in an Invincible Run or an Infinity rather than the Pegasus, right as it stands now. Maybe the Miler, I'm not sure, but like Streak Fly and Invincible, that'd be. It's an all ZoomX rotation. That's a pretty intriguing thought. I like that idea. It's interesting. Frank says, I don't think I've ever noticed being hungry on a run. I get hungry all the time on a run. Like, and I get hungry, like sometimes when I come back, I just need to eat anything. And a lot of times if I haven't cleared like some of the things that the kids have eaten for breakfast or whatever, I'll just start scavenging like crazy. I did that when we were in Florida. I just started eating all the kids' leftovers. Because the kids are always like, no, daddy, don't put that away. I'm going to eat it later. And I'll be like, all right. And then I'll end up falling asleep. And then the next morning, there's still food left out. I know that's not a good habit for us to be in, but it happens. And then I come back from a run and I'll be like, I'm going to eat that. And it's been sitting out all night, but I'm like, I don't care. I'm hungry. So I just get really, really hungry. That's why I think I don't know. I think I need to explore the ultra world a little bit more because I feel like if my stomach can, I've been training for ultras my entire life, apparently, now that I think about it, just like scarfing down extra value meals before track practice. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just always hungry anyway. Emma has a question. Good to see you, Emma. She says, speaking of Stroop waffles, do you find those to be pretty equivalent to gels? I've never thought of them that way. I've always thought of them as like, I don't think of them as something that I would bring to a race. Maybe for like an ultra, that's something that I would want to have, but I don't know that I would have them. No, I would think of it like if it's an ultra situation, and I'm not an expert at ultras, but like I would think of it as like, gels are for the course and then solid foods are for like the aid stations. And then a Stroop waffle maybe could be one of those things where if I get hungry and I'm just tired of a gel, that's something that I could dip into to have some solid food. But I probably wouldn't really think of it all that much in terms of like what my hourly caloric and electrolyte and sugar intake was. I think of them as like bonus. But maybe I need to rethink that. I just think of them as treats because they're so tasty. But I'm trying to think, like sugar-wise, I think it's pretty similar because you're getting probably anywhere between you're probably getting about 15 to 20 grams of carbs with a Stroop waffle, right? And I would imagine you're probably getting a decent amount of salt. So I think you could probably use them that way. But I think also because it's like solid food versus like liquid or gel, um, the timing might have to be tinkered with just a little bit. Because you have to factor in like digestion time. But they're such simple foods, I think your body will break it down real fast. So I don't know that you'd have to change up that much if I think about it. Thomas Villas here says, "You just got here. Can we start over?" No, we don't. We can't start over. I can't rewind time. It's live, but Yeah, it's good to see you here. Don't worry about it. I'm still drinking the Nuun Prime. I like this stuff. I don't know. I think it's tasty. I like orange and citrus flavored things. That's good. I kind of want another one. Martha says Kofuzi is a family leftover human vacuum cleaner, right? Kofuzi? Yeah, I mean, except for meat, you know. So I mean, I don't know if it's good or bad that I became a vegetarian like right around the time that my wife and I started having kids, because otherwise, like my lifetime chicken nugget consumption would have just been through the roof. Because my kids leave so many of those, and every time to this day, like if I throw them out, I'm like, oh, maybe I should just eat them today. But I'm like, nah, I don't need to eat those. But yeah, everything else, like I'll eat it. Like, and I'm not that picky. Like if they've left macaroni and cheese out overnight, I'll still eat that. I don't care. I just before we got on the live stream today, I ate like left fries that they had left out. I took the baby to um a bar yesterday. I took her to a pub, a restaurant, like a bar restaurant. Um because we were waiting for my other daughter. She had a school activity. Normally we've been going to get donuts, but instead she wanted to go to this other restaurant that she likes. She took her food home just because she couldn't finish it in the time we had there. And then she had it like her food from the restaurant at dinner because I made dinner for everyone. And then she left her plate and there was some fries and a chicken strip on there. I just threw away the chicken strip and I did eat the rest of the fries. Midlife Runner wants to know, question, do you alternate long runs week to week? One with faster paces and the next all easy. And then what is that? Donut Taco Donut? Those are great emojis. Interesting. I like that. Yeah, I try not to do the same long run every week. I try to mix it up. And I was just thinking about, I hadn't decided what I was going to do for my long run this weekend. Last weekend, I did, I think, 16 miles with 10 at marathon effort in the middle. I think this week, what I'll probably do is maybe a 3 times 4 mile at marathon pace with a 1 mile float. So the idea being like, and then that'll probably get me closer to 18 miles. I think a lot of it's going to depend on the wind and the temperature, if I do that or not. But what I try to do is, think about like what do I want to work on. I'm feeling really good about my marathon pacing in terms of like matching what I think it should feel like and like where like my power number and my heart rate end up being. So like if I felt like I needed more work on that, I might do that same run again. Maybe making it a little bit longer because I'm getting closer to the marathon now. So more of like a longer warm up or maybe a longer cool down after that. Um, but now what I want to do, I feel good about the pacing, but I also want to get in a lot of work without like, overdoing it. So I think if I put in, a total of 12 marathon effort miles, but space it out a little bit, give myself a little bit of a break, but not a complete break. So a float, rather than a recovery. I think that might work out well to give me kind of the stimulus that I want. So that's kind of like how I think of it as like, if I need to keep working on something, do it again. If I feel good about the last weekend, then try doing something new. Think about what else can I work on in terms of building more and more strength as we get closer. So that's kind of how I think about it. Ilya has a question about the Streak Fly also. Says, since not many people are too keen on it being a race shoe, doesn't the Rebel 2 seem like a better deal for training and competition? I haven't heard that much about people not thinking it's a race shoe. I mean, I thought it was a race shoe. I thought I was supposed to replace the Zoom Streak, which was a race shoe. So, I mean, I haven't heard that. That probably could be the case. I'm not sure. I've seen Ed Bud talk about it. I've seen a couple other people talk about it. I'm going to try not to watch too many more videos because I do have a pair coming, hopefully next week. So we'll see. But like, I don't know, like the kinds of shoes that people were racing their 5Ks in before were pretty old school. If you think about the Zoom Streak, a shoe that I did like, but it was pretty hard on the body. So like it's not gonna feel like those shoes if people are used to that, you know? So like I might think it feels like a race shoe, just like I feel like the Takumi Sen is a race shoe. But I think that someone that has been like training for 5Ks and 10Ks for the past 5 years, 7 years might be like, this is too soft and squishy to be a race shoe, you know? So I think it might be just perspective. But um, I'm interested to see how it feels. But if it is more of just like a faster shoe, maybe if it's more of like a tempo slash workout shoe, then maybe the Rebel 2 is a better option. But it'll depend on how the foams feel. Like on paper, they might be like, it might be like premium foam versus premium foam, lower sack height versus lower sack height. You know, those things might all line up, but the proof is in the pudding, I guess. You know, we'll see. It's interesting. Scott says, "Did you see how quickly the Street Fly sold out? I don't think they were able to deliver that many." That's why I'm worried. I'm like, well, I did place an order. Hopefully, it goes through. Um, but I set an alarm for 8:59, and then I logged into the Nike app a little bit early, and it said like coming soon. Then like refreshed, and I went into the shoe again, and then by then, like in the amount of time it took me to refresh, it went live, and then I just bought a pair right away. So unfortunately, and fortunately, because I was using the app, it had like my Apple Pay information in there and my address, so I could just say like next, 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 and then I was able to get it that way. But some people were like, if you wait for like, there's two ways that a lot of people try to get like, and this is how I used to wait for Nike shoes, is like, oh, well, I'll get the notification because I have the Nike app. In the Nike app, you could like set a reminder, or you used to be able to set a reminder, and it would notify you. Or like sometimes like an email would go out. By the time that email goes out, and you get the notification from your email, and then you click on the link through your email, that's probably too long. That's how quickly some of them go. So yeah. And people were comparing it to like how quickly the Prime X sold out. I don't think the Prime X sold out that quickly because when I bought the Prime X, I was just on Instagram and I was looking at Ben Johnson's Instagram stories, and he was like, he had like posted that, hey, these are available for sale, and I was like, oh, okay. So then I looked up Prime X and then I bought it that way. So that would have taken a little bit of time from the time he saw it, posted about it, then I saw, even if I saw it like right away, and then went, that would be a little bit of a time. So I think the Prime X took a little bit longer to sell because it's much more niche of a product. But I think the thing that's, like people are like, must not be that many, or must be all the bots that are buying them up. I think that there is a lot of hype on this. Think about it, like they got like, I think was it Cooper, New Generation Track and Field went to like a high school and like gave out a bunch of pairs to the kids there and stuff. Um, and people have been talking about it for a really long time. There's been a lot of hype coming around that shoe, and so it's been exciting. And I think the other thing that I think that we all forget is that like these marathon shoes appeal to us, right? Like, and by us, I mean like people who are not kids. But I think like if you're in high school, like the Vaporfly is interesting, but if you're running high school cross country, like you don't need a Vaporfly, right? I mean, even the Ingebrigtsens barely need a Vaporfly or an Alpha Fly. I mean, they broke a record in the Alpha Flies, but like, if you're running, like if you're just like an average high school cross country runner, like I was very average, maybe a little bit below average. I think we were running like 30 miles a week. I had no business needing an Alpha Fly, you know? If you're collegiate, then it makes a little bit more of a difference. But even then, you're not running those races on roads, So like these were shoes that were like, I think interesting, but for the vast majority of runners. And there's a lot of older runners, like adult runners, but there's also so many younger runners too. And I think that these are shoes finally like, all right, finally we get a taste of this super shoe action. The Dragonfly and like what was it? There was the other crazy spikes that Nike put out. I think that like built up a lot of frenzy, but like again, not a lot of kids or younger runners need those, and we're getting them, but they were like, oh man, look, they're racking up all these wins. Now there's a road version, so to speak, in the streak fly, and that's where I think that it that's where all of the demand is coming from. And then if you're looking at like, I don't know if you guys, I don't know, you guys are probably not on TikTok, but I think they posted the same video on Instagram stories as well. Like when Heartbreak, when the Chicago Heartbreak store got their inventory of streak flies in, they went out and like the whole staff went out to the museum campus, which is where I go. It's like where the planetarium is. And they were like, when your streak flies finally come in, and then like that was like the caption, and they were like, it was like at night, but they poured Athletic Brewing beer in it, and were like drinking. They're doing shoeies. They were drinking it out of the shoe because they were just celebrating that the shoe came in. And so like I think Heartbreak are really trying to go after that like collegiate runner market. Um, and so like I think that's kind of like the level of excitement that there is with the streak fly. So I just think it's a very highly anticipated shoe. It's not, I mean, I'm not that I'm not like super excited about it because it's not made for me, you know. But I think it's definitely made for a lot of other people that are going to be very interested in it. So I think maybe they didn't make that many, but I just think that the demand is really high. Sorry, that was really long. It was really long. Answer. Bryce Blankenfield says, "Yo, what's going on? It's been a while. Good to see you again, Bryce. Hopefully you didn't get lost with the channel switch, but it's good to see you." All right, I gotta scroll down because I was rambling for a long time. Oh, my mom made it. Hi, Mom. How are you? I forgot to send you the link again. I know we talked about that yesterday. I forgot to do that, but I'm glad that you're here. Good to see you. Adam says, Clayton Murphy on a recent YouTube video says he chooses his spikes for races based on what feels good on his feet that day, whether or not they are carbon. He runs best when his feet feel good. That's interesting. I like that approach. I really like Clayton Murphy. He's I don't know. He's a guy that I think is easy to root for. So I like him a lot. That makes a lot of sense. But I'm like, on what day do feet not feel great in carbon? I mean, I guess if it were a longer race, maybe, but I mean, yeah. On the track, I think I would just want spikes all the time. I mean, I wore spikes for my steeplechase. That was a 3,000 meter. I probably didn't need spikes, not at the speed I was going, you know? Shake Johnson says, about the streak flies, heard that they're a little lighter than the Peg Turbo 1, which was a really good shoe. That was a really good shoe. Maybe that's part of the like allure too, is like they stopped making the turbo for some reason that still has never been adequately explained to me. And maybe the people are like, I love the turbo. If this is going to be like the turbo, I'm going to love this. And maybe it is. I mean, if it is going to be like a turbo, that's pretty exciting. And then you do have to start thinking about, okay, do I start thinking about that as a daily trainer? Because a lot of people were using them as daily trainers. I still see people with peg turbos out along the lakefront. Not so much in the winter, but I definitely still see them. Martha says, it's so crazy how the running shoe world flip-flops between minimalism, maximalism, now back to something in between, but more minimal with max style foam, and everyone goes crazy. Yeah, I mean, I think that the nuance there, though, is that the technology is a little bit different, right? So I think in terms of where it's going, we're still in a maximalist mode, right? Because think about this year, we're going to see the New Balance SC Super Comp Trainer. That's going to be an illegal shoe. I don't know if Adidas is going to update their illegal shoe, the Primex. And I don't think those are going to be the only two brands with illegal shoes this year. On is going to make the Cloud Monster, which is going to be even bigger than the Cloud Stratus that I have. So like maximalism is still definitely there. I mean, I'm surprised Hoka isn't going with like a 50 millimeter stack height shoe somewhere. Like you would think if anyone's going to go crazy, it should have been Hoka. Why didn't they do that? I'm going to have to ask them. So, like, I think that's definitely there. But I think people are also now thinking like, "Hey, yo, you know what? These foams that we have now, we could do a lot with a little. What happens if we do a little bit less, but we can still feel like we have more?" So I think people are like, "Okay, you know, that lower stack height won't be a deterrent in this age of maximalism anymore." So, like, I think we're gonna see a bigger variety is what I think it ultimately means for a while. And then it'll probably swing to minimalism again. But yeah, it is crazy. It definitely is crazy. Oh, I lost the battery already? Sorry. Um, must have set the settings wrong for it. All right, let's go to this camera. Sorry, guys. There we go. All right. Chris Dyke says, I would say the super shoes / new tech help us average runners out more than the pros. On running, having elites winning races should be proof. Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's what I would think. But yeah, there's certainly been debate. On running continues to be that brand where like they're doing everything right, except I don't like the shoes. I'm trying to run in this on Cloud Stratus. I think I'm like I feel like I've been running in it forever, and then I counted yesterday. I think I'm at 70 miles on it, and I'm like, oh, I got so much more to run in this shoe. And I want to love it. I want it to break in. I want it to be like really great. And then it's okay. It's just okay. And like I ran in it 2 days in a row this week, and then by that night, my feet were not happy. And I'm in a high mileage training block, so like my feet are gonna be sore, but like they were they were really not happy. So I was gonna run and again in them today to try to get 3 runs in them in a week, but I was like, no, I ran into Nimbus 24 instead. My feet were much happier. The new spike looks great, but I think when Olihor won the Wanamaker mile, I don't think he ran in the on spike. I think the other on athletes did run in the on spike, but not Olihor. Am I right on? I think I'm right on that. I'm not sure. Yeah. Bryce says, I didn't get lost. I got a new job and things have been busy. Oh, fantastic. That's great. Great news. Hope you're enjoying the new job and congratulations. All right. Mika says, doing yoga and mobility exercises, still bugged by a nasty hip issue. Might need a shot of cortisone. Ooh. Well, hopefully that resolves it. Because hopefully that resolves it. And Running in Pizza says, isn't the turbo coming back? I thought I saw some images about a new turbo. I forgot about that. That would be nice if it came back. And then you would have that thing like turbo versus street fly. What's the difference? That would be a little bit harder to figure out what the difference. Maybe one's like, I think it would be probably maybe a similar conversation to like Takumi-sen in Boston or Takumi-sen in Adios. As much as I think I understand the Adidas line, every time I think I understand the Adidas line, I'm like, no, I don't think I understand it. I waver back and forth. And maybe Nike's going to be in the same position here. Brett Reed said, I would imagine this Streakfly release is similar to the Vaporfly 2. Came out with a proto color, and then a few months later, a bunch of colors are released. Yeah, I think that'll be the case. And now it seems like there's so many the next percent 2 colorways. I think that like some of them are on sale, deep discount. Or they were like over the holidays. Which is like I never thought I would see that. But yeah. So yeah, I think that they think that they'll do this proto colorway. They probably don't do a huge release. So that way it sells out fast, builds even more hype. And then when they're ready for a bigger release, then or maybe I don't know if like they use the initial release to gauge interest. Because I have to imagine those other colors are already made and sitting in boxes already, right? Like, I don't think they're not going to be like, let's see what the first 48 hours are like, and then we'll put in our orders to the factory. I don't think it works that way. Not for shoes in the numbers like Nike has to make. I don't think. Martha says about the turbo comparison. Isn't the upper on the street flight extremely minimal for a daily trainer? I think so. I mean, it looks like a racing upper to me. I haven't seen it. It looks to me a lot like it's ported over almost not directly, but it looks there's a lot of similarities to the next percent upper. So it's going to be a little bit more snug. I don't know if it's going to crunch toes, but um, I like we've seen from like the Endorphin series. And what we're seeing in a lot of the Adidas shoes, well, not the Boston for sure, but um, like in the Primax, which is, a carbon plated super shoe, but not necessarily a race shoe. Um, I'm liking the minimal uppers. I think that they work. I don't always need a bunch of padding. And I think that the main reason isn't always padding and comfort that like daily trainers and feel the way that they do. I think a lot of it's for durability as well. But these minimal uppers are so strong in terms of the materials now too. So I think that they can put them on more shoes. That's my theory. IMF Pedro has a question. Says, "Go. Have you ever had someone heard of someone having a pubalgia? If yes, they completely stopped running to heal? Thanks. Keep up the great work. I'm not familiar with that, so I don't have any experience in that. Sorry about that." Martha says the ultimate high stack on should be called the mushroom cloud. That's pretty funny. I do like that. But I think, there could be, negative. I mean, there's certainly negative connotations with that. I think Cloud Monsters is pretty fun. Bryce says, though, I've never been a big fan of the high stack height shoes. I'm all in on the high stack shoes. I love them. I don't know. I just have a good time in those shoes. It's a lot of fun. Jason Hopkins says, "Do you have a favorite 50K race?" Well, I've only done one 50K race. I've run 50K twice, but I've only done one 50K race. So I guess I mean, that would be it. The Crater Trail 50K by default, but I haven't, I was just thinking about what ultra I would like to get in this year. Ultra Dad was in here yesterday talking about giving me some suggestions, but I also remember that I'm at 94,000 subscribers. So pretty soon I'm at that 100K mark, and I'm going to want to do a 100K race. So maybe I can think of something for after Tokyo. And I was like, it might have to be a solo effort, which I don't love the idea of. And then I was thinking, you know what? If I start at my mother-in-law's house and then run to the Heritage Trail, run to the end, and then run back home, that would probably be 100K. Because I think the Heritage Trail itself, it'd actually be more than 100K. But the Heritage Trail itself is like 30 miles, 29 miles and change in total. So I'm like, oh, how do I do that? That'd have to be what is it called when you plant your own supplies, but don't carry them all with you? Self-supported, not unsupported, self-supported, right? So it'd have to be a self-supported. Or maybe I get some people to run with me. Maybe I get my brother-in-law to ride his gravel bike and ride along with me and hand me food or something like that. I don't know. Let's do a couple more. All right. Andrew Hunt is 10 days out from Austin. He has a pair of Vaporfly next with only like 30 miles on them. Nice. Plan on using them in Austin for the last race and then push them into the training rotation. That's pretty soon. That's pretty early to push them into training. But I guess like if you're like, well, I want to get another pair of next percents this year, then that makes sense. But I think that if they've got 30 miles on them and you're going to use them for Austin, I mean, you'll be at like 60 by the time you're done. Assuming you're going to work, maybe if you use them for like a shakeout run and warm-ups and stuff like that. I don't know if you're going to run on them between then, but good luck with the taper, Andrew, and good luck in Austin. Ben Young says, "Hey, Co, do you think that the Nova Blast 2 and Velocity 2 are going to share a lot of the same characteristics? Just hit 200 in my Nova 1s, and I'm looking to Puma or the V2 of the Nova Blast. Thanks." I think that they're going to be very different shoes. I think that I mean, I didn't run in the Velocity 1. I picked the Deviate Nitro instead because I wanted to get a feel for what the, Puma Nitro foam was like, and Velocity version 1 had, like, nitro foam and then, like, a wedge of EVA in the heel, and I was like, "I don't want to have those mixed foams. I just wanna have a pure, like, Puma Nitro experience." And I think for what I've seen for the Velocity 2, there's even more EVA. So I think that they are trying to soften it up a little bit compared to what like a very heavy nitro experience was. Not heavy, but a more higher percentage of nitro ride in the version 1. So that's my guess. It's my gut from what I've seen so far. And I think with the Nova Blast 2, well, Nova Blast 2 and the Velocity 2, maybe the Nova Blast 2 and the Velocity 2 will share some more of the characteristics. But for some reason in my head, I was thinking about the Nova Blast 3. I haven't seen it yet, but my understanding it's supposed to have the FF Blast Plus foam in it. So I think that that's going to be very bouncy, very squishy, a lot of fun. I'm hoping that this year they challenge us with, can a company make a shoe that's too squishy? I hope it's that level squishy. Like where we're like, oh, I don't know. But then I guess that means it's not as, that won't have as broad of an appeal. But I would love it, I think. We'll see. My ankles and my knees are stronger now, so I think I can handle it. So we'll see what happens with that. But with the Nova Blast 2, I felt like with the way that they had like shaped the foam in the midsole, it did increase the stability on that shoe quite a bit. So maybe those two become more similar. I still think that the FF Blast foam and the Nova Blast is going to still give a spongier experience. Not to say that that's necessarily better. It would be more towards my preferences than what you're going to get in what I think you would get in the Velocity 2. But hopefully, I'll get to run in the Velocity 2 sometime soon. Yeah, but if you're at 200 in the Nova Blast 1s, looking to Puma version 2 of the Nova Blast, yeah, I mean, that's a tough decision. Because, like, do you buy a pair of Nova? If you buy a pair of Nova Blast 2s right now, you'll probably get a pair on sale. And then maybe pick up a pair of Velocities 2s later. Get both. I mean, that's usually going to be my answer. Get both. But if you're going to wait for number 3, I think Nova Blast 3 is not going to come out till later in the summer, I think. So maybe, I don't know when the Velocity 2 comes. I think the Velocity 2 might be out now. So it might be a good time to just get that now. AHBC from San Antonio says, a bit tardy. Finally grabbed a rabbit flannel. Wore it today on the run. Very solid. Awesome. You ran with it? I haven't run in mine. I should have ran in mine yesterday. Yesterday was a workout. I should, once it warms up a little bit, maybe I'll run in the flannel. I got to test that performance flannel. That's cool. That's cool. I wore the shirt just this week. I love that shirt. Adam wants to know if I'm going to go to the Colin Cooper show this weekend. I don't know. I'm going to message Greg Itahara, see if he's going. Maybe we can carpool. We'll see. Maybe. I tried to get media credentials, but no, I got a big no response from the people that I emailed. So I don't know. Secure Elite, what's going on? He says they are releasing a new turbo, but the midsole is weird, and don't expect it to be as good as the Turbo 2. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Oh, what are they doing with it? That's going to make it weird. That's disappointing. They should just re-release the Turbo 2. Just be like, new colorways of the Turbo 2. Would you be mad here? Would you guys be mad if in 2023, let's say, Nike was like, guess what? We're doing like Spider-Man reboots where like the shoe didn't come out that long ago, but we're gonna do a reboot. We're gonna reboot the Turbo and the Epic React. Like I would be pretty excited about that. I'm like, I don't care if those shoes only came out like 4 years ago. Give me some. I'll call if you want to call it a Pro Tro, fine. But I could go for another. I had that cookies and cream Epic React. I miss that shoe. And like the Peg Turbo version 1. What would they call it? Pink hot. I think you can call it hot pink. It was like pink punch or something like that. I'll take it. That'd be great. I would definitely go for that. That'd be fun. All right. Regan Dugan says like the 100K with a film produced by the Ginger Runner. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think I could swing. I don't think I could swing that. I think he's probably busy. And I feel like he's taken the crown for what you do for your 100K because he did a 100K live streamed the entire time. Like, no, how do you top that on YouTube? You can't. You can't top it on YouTube. So, so that just gets set up there. And now everyone else kind of like battles for second place, I guess. Or, I mean, I don't even know if that'll get second best one, but we'll see. All right. I think that's a good place to leave it for today, guys. Tomorrow, I don't think there's going to be a video, but we'll do another live stream for Friday. Same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.